Hello and welcome to Benz Addiction. Today we are going to compare apples with oranges. If you have been in the market to buy one of these beauties, 2003 CLK500, 1994 SL500 R129, I will give you some hints and comparisons to make your decision easier. If you have been following my channel, I just bought that CLK500. It yet is far from perfect and has too many issues. And my reliable R129, it's about a year that this beauty has been with me. They are both convertible, they have 8 cylinders, and they make both the same 300 horses. First point to mention, if you are in the market to buy one of these, price is a big factor. And the cost of R129 in the market is in Australia is about $40,000. If you want to buy a pristine example, you have to pay at least $60,000 for a SL500. But if we compare it to a CLK500 convertible, you could be paying something between $15,000 to $20,000. And for a pristine example, you would be paying $25,000 to $30,000 Australian. As I mentioned, you can buy two CLK500 with the price of one SL500. So this is a big factor. Okay, first of all, let's compare these two cars visually. They both look very nice. This is a very subjective matter. As I said, my CLK500 is far from perfection, but it can give you some idea how these two look side by side. SL500 1994 is the era of Mercedes Benz before the merger of Mercedes Benz in 1998, and definitely the design is very different than the CLK500. But the visual beauty is something subjective. You can decide which one you would like more. Okay, I would like to make this decision making as objective as possible, so I keep quiet here. Although I love my SL500 look, but in somehow CLK500 looks very modern in terms of exterior comparing to SL500. Now let's look at the interior. Okay, this is the CLK500 2003 year, and as you can see, it doesn't look ugly at all. In fact, it looks beautiful. Look at the design, the headrest, the rear seating area, the deck. It's very nice actually, and look how nice and charming the interior looks with all those wood trims, which some people love and some people hate. But the design is definitely very nice with all those circle vents, circle gauges, and circle buttons. Looking at the SL500, on the other hand, this is a very different interior that some people might like. The older generation people like me, I am 40 something years old, and I love the interior of this car as well. And this is the classic Mercedes. Why not? Look at the gauge cluster. It's absolutely beautiful. The steering wheel, gear shifter area and center console, it's over engineered and very nice. And look at the seats. Beautiful design, especially the headrest, integrated seatbelt system that goes up and down with the headrest. And of course the very nice deck. Okay, next category is the space. In terms of trunk space, let's start from the back. This is the SL500 R129, which has the soft top in there at the front of the boot or the trunk. So you get some limited space over here, but very useful for a roadster. Also, I need to mention that this car has a hard top too. So winter is not a big deal with this car, as it has a hard top and it's easy to maintain, and it gives you the feeling of a coupe. On the other hand, this is the CLK trunk. Please forgive me for all these things. I was in the middle of doing some electrical work in there, and I totally forgot that I have been doing some work on my car. But in terms of trunk, this is the space you're going to get if you have the soft top down, and a little more if you have the soft top up, of course. And comparing to the SL500 R129, you probably get a more useful space on R129 SL500 comparing to a bit limited space over here. Okay, next category is engine and performance. SL500 1994 is a 4-speed automatic. CLK500 2003 offers you a 5-speed automatic. And both in terms of transmission, they shift great. SL500 has no problem doing 120, 160k an hour, but the CLK has a better shifting, of course, transmission, as it's 10 years more modern. But in terms of performance, SL500 has 320 horses that uses M119 engine, and CLK500 uses M113 engine that makes 305 horses. So pretty similar in terms of even torque and horsepower rating. And in terms of acceleration, I would say so. SL500 weighs about 2 tons and CLK500 about 1800 kilograms. So they're both heavy cars, but they can accelerate quickly in around 6 seconds if required. Okay, in terms of comfort and riding comfort, I have had that 320, and that's almost my wife's daily driver, and I drive that car on a daily basis. So I can say this CLK500, it drives almost the same as my CLK320 Coupe. And the ride on this one is a bit rougher in terms of suspension and comfort. The SL500, on the other hand, has the ADS suspension, which is a hydraulic suspension in the rear and at the front. So it gives you a very nice and cushiony kind of drive that I love it so much. Okay, what about the options, safety, and all those features inside the cars? Well, inside the cars you will get 6 airbags on CLK, probably 6 to 4 airbags, and you probably got roll bars over here for CLK, and other things on CLK, to be honest, are very normal. For a 2004 year, CLK provides almost the same amount of features if we compare it to SL500. On the other hand, SL500, it gives you 2 airbags at the front in terms of safety. It provides you ABS and all those stability features. Also, it gives you a very good roll bar if it is needed. I would say CLK and SL, they both provide the same amount of safety and features. Okay, next category, number of passengers. Definitely SL500 gives you only 2 seats, as you can see, and limited area in the back for some luggage probably. And this is where CLK500 or any W209 comes into practice. It offers you a very good space in terms of footrest. So in terms of space, you can comfortably have 4 people inside the CLK and not inside the SL500. Okay, what about parts availability? It's probably one of the things. I would say SL500 is getting older, and the parts and finding parts for SL500 as it's 10 years almost older is getting a little of a challenge. But CLK500, you probably would find parts for this car easier. Okay, CLK500 only offers you a soft top that is not very convenient for all the weathers, but SL500 also gives you a hard top plus a soft top. So this is something to consider as well. In terms of driving experience, I would say CLK500 is more towards sportiness and acceleration, and SL500 is a roadster, and it gives you the smile on your face because it gives you a very different ride, a cushiony and nice and soft without any noise and cruising along the road no matter what. So totally different driving experiences, I would say, as the CLK has a kind of rougher suspension and a very different driving experience. One more category over here, the engineering point of view of comparing SL500 to CLK500. I would say the features that SL500 provides you is much more in terms of, if we consider the age of this car. I mean, integrated seat belts, very nice seats, all the features including the roll bars activations, and you can manually do that as well. All the features in terms of seat adjustments, heated seats, automatic air conditioning, all the space and features over here in the center console, and the technology for the 1990s is of course priceless. Okay, there is one big factor over here that you might want to consider. In terms of diagnosis and maintenance, probably CLK500 wins this category, as diagnosis with OBD2 is much easier for CLK500 with the M113 engine comparing to M119 engine, which has its own goods and bads. The SL500 R129 over here, it's more difficult to diagnose and harder probably to maintain due to older age. If you look at these two cars as an investment, probably CLK has not yet started to grow in value, and probably it needs some more 5 to 10 years to be in the category of a classical car, and in terms of price rise, it probably needs some few years before that. But SL500, in my opinion, has already started the increase in the price. If you're looking at it as an investment, it's definitely more expensive now than before, and in the next few years will start to be more expensive as well. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, liking and subscribing, and I hope this video will be helpful, and I tried to stay as objective as possible and mention the points that I knew about these two cars. Please have a look at my channel. I have a lot of content related to CLK W209 and R129. Thanks so much for watching and tuning.